I went to a haunted museum while I was in Vegas, and I feel like I came in contact with something paranormal, and I felt like I wanted to talk about it. So we're gonna talk about it. I'm really into the paranormal, and I do believe that there is a spirit realm that exists. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but that's something that I believe in. I also believe in spirituality and being able to communicate with these spirits and being able to not communicate with them if you don't want to. This is a different camera angle, but I've been filming this through a couple of days, so this is day 2 of filming this video, and I just wanted to preface this by saying that I'm acting really kind of off in this next clip. I don't usually talk the way that I am, and I'm looking kind of just weird in the camera. I don't know why. It was just a very strange thing to film this experience. Looking back at it is really weird. I don't even make like facial expressions while I'm talking about it. It really freaks me out, so it's hard to talk about without completely like enveloping myself in the story and only focusing on that. So I did my best. So this wasn't the first room that we went into, but it was the first room in the entire place where I felt kind of weird. Ed Gein's cauldron room had a really interesting energy about it. It felt really negative, but I felt really positive around the cauldron, which is not supposed to happen. Somebody used this cauldron for bad purposes. Freaky stuff, not gonna get into it, but I instantly felt connected to this energy, and I felt connected to the cauldron itself. So to me, it looked like there was tobacco, flowers, different dried leaves, and just like a bloody ring around the cauldron, like it was like circling the cauldron. It was really disturbing, but I was so fascinated by the story behind it and the fact that another witch had come and done some dark magic that involved this and left those offerings there. It was really interesting to look at. I was super fascinated by it. I instantly like tuned out the tour guide and kind of just had my own experience with the room, which was pretty cool. I did enjoy it a lot. It was a great tour, but I just for some reason wasn't paying attention to her during the time that I was in this room. I felt like I was zoned out in my own space just with this cauldron, just me and the cauldron. It was very strange. My friend basically had to take my hand and lead me outside of the room after we were done in there, so it was a really kind of intense experience. So that was the first room. Before even going into the room, I felt negative. I felt really uncomfortable, and the tour guide was even like, if you don't want to go in here, you don't have to. But I went in there and I looked to my right and I saw a shadow figure that went from the floor all the way up to the ceiling, just covered in like darkness, and I didn't see like a particular shape or anything. It was just like really dark and black, and you could see that it was there, but you don't know the story behind the Dybbuk box. I'm not going to explain it. We just saw this box in the middle of the room. The sage had been molding inside of the glass container. It was really weird to see because dried sage doesn't really mold unless it's like in a weird spot. It wouldn't do that. My friend had seen something. There was an offering box in the corner of the room, and she felt like she needed to give something away of hers. I had looked through my bag for an offering, and I didn't find money, and I didn't find like a personal item except for the selenite stone that I was holding, and I felt like, oh my god, I could totally give that away as an offering. But I looked inside this clear offering box and saw nothing but money and cards, like just regular deck of cards in there, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna offer anything. When she was in that room, she felt like she needed to give away my stone, and I told her that I felt like I needed to give away my stone. We both had the same feeling in that room. I think because she was so scared, it kind of made her feel like she wanted to give it away, which is really interesting. The last room that we went into from the museum was, it was the demon house room. My friend said that she saw something with us that looked like the same type of shadow figure that I saw upstairs in the other room. So I thought that was not just a coincidence. On our way back to the hotel, I realized that my friend was not doing so well, and I feel like I was also not really doing that great either. I felt really disconnected. I didn't feel like I was myself, and I felt really spacey while we were in the taxi, and I wasn't paying attention to my friend not responding. I was just not feeling it. I think my energy was so low at that point that I just turned off for a bit. So when we got back to the hotel, right before we were getting into our room, I noticed that my friend had a scratch on her back. So she ended up being scratched by something in the museum while we were there anyways, and it was just like a red line down her shoulder. It was really strange. She has a tattoo there, and it was like right beside the tattoo. And I showed her, and she's like, oh my god, that's what's been hurting so bad. But there was no blood, there was no like really severity to the scratch that she had. It was just a very minor scratch with some redness around it. So I'll insert some pictures. I just turned off for a bit, and when we got back to the hotel, we finally had some time to discuss what happened. We got back to the hotel room, changed into our bathing suits, and my friend wanted to put her necklace on. This necklace that she brought with us to our vacation was given to her by her grandmother. It was really important to her, and she felt really protected when she wore it. I definitely recommended her to put on this necklace because I had my necklace on and I felt like I was protected, and I felt her energy was just completely off. She was really scared still. She was like almost in tears by the time we were at the hotel room. It was like pretty intense for her, I think. So we kind of just wanted to go to the pool and relax for a bit. While we were in the hot tub, my friend expressed to me that she felt like there was something that had followed her from the museum back to our hotel room. She didn't feel good. She was like crying in the hot tub, with just like talking about it made her that scared that she was really upset, really like brought to tears by this situation. Didn't feel like anything was even remotely connected to us at this point, but she was really scared. So I think it's also important to mention that my friend isn't really religious at all. She doesn't follow a specific path in religion at all, and I feel like that really differs from my perspective. So I feel like because she was so vulnerable and because she was so scared, those emotions kind of triggered her to feel that way. I don't think anything was with us at the end of the day, but we got home and the first night was perfectly fine. Didn't feel like anything followed us back from where we were vacationing. It was totally fine. Everything was great when we got back. But the first night where I was by myself was Saturday night. Saturday night was pretty normal, except for the fact that I had stayed up till 3:30 just by accident. I had been playing games, I had been taking care of my garden, and I had been doing stuff around the house until 3:30, and I had not even realized. This is really strange because I'm usually a morning person. I like to get up around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, so staying up till 3:30 is not like me at all. I'll be in bed at least by 12 o'clock most days. The first night back home, my friend actually ended up staying with me at my house, so I feel like that's why the energy felt different. I felt like when I was alone, I could actually feel the house rather than the energy that we had just coming back from the trip. So I feel like when I got time to actually relax and unwind in my own space, I felt like that's when I started to feel all of those emotions. I didn't feel the presence after I left the museum. It was just while I was there is when I actually saw something. So nothing actually showed itself in my apartment. I just had a really sinking feeling when I got back. So I feel like that, in combination with my friends being terrified for me in my space, made me a little bit more prone to feeling scared. So I felt kind of anxious while I was at home doing what I was doing, and I felt kind of scared as well, which doesn't really happen around here. I never get scared in my apartment. Nothing ever terrifies me that bad where I'm like having anxiety about it. So it was really weird that I was experiencing this at 3:30 in the morning. Went to bed, everything was okay. And the next morning I was feeling unwell. I was like, Sunday morning was really rough for me. I had to go back to sleep on the couch for another hour before I actually felt awake, which was really weird because I woke up at 9. I went to tend my plants and I noticed that my shears were lying on the ground. Not that uncommon, to be honest. I leave them everywhere, but I had it over here and I noticed that one of the pieces had broken off of my shears somehow. It might have fallen off a table or something, but I had looked for this little plastic piece that had fell off. It was gone. I couldn't find it. I searched for probably like an hour. couldn't find it anywhere. It was around 7:30 when I decided to do like a pendulum. I was working with my pendulum at 7:30. It's not that complicated. After I had finished, I felt weird. It was not like a great feeling. My place was fine. I was just feeling really anxious because I knew that, I don't know what I knew. I had a feeling that something didn't go right. So I texted the friend that I went on this vacation with, and she's like, yeah, you know, I haven't been feeling the same since I got home either. I'm glad I'm not the only one feeling this way, but like, what should we do about it? And my friend suggested to do a cleansing ritual, and I'm like, okay, that's easy enough, like whatever, I'll just do a cleansing ritual, everything will be fine. So it was probably around, I don't know, like 9 o'clock when I started figuring out what I was gonna do for this. Knew I wanted to do a tarot session that night for sure. That was definitely something that I wanted to do. Got all the stuff laid out on my coffee table in the middle of my living room because it's the center of my house. It was in the middle of my house, and I had like 3 white candles, 1 red candle, like basically everything I felt like I needed to have for this cleansing ritual I had on my table. I wanted to do the tarot cards first and then just do the whole cleansing stuff after the tarot cards are done, just in case it was something that I wasn't expecting, or if I get emotional after the tarot reading, because oftentimes I do. It feels like a therapy session every single time I do a tarot reading. So I'm going to try to find my tarot cards, and they aren't in the box that they usually are. I keep them in the box that I bought it with, like the one it came with. It wasn't in there. And I have a pouch that I like to keep them in when I'm actually like doing daily readings and stuff, and it wasn't in that pouch either. Started looking for it. It probably took me like 30 minutes to find my freaking tarot cards. It was a really long time. It felt like I was searching for such a long time. And then I sat down just to take a break from searching because I was really frustrated. I run my hand across the side of my couch cushion, and I felt the tarot cards in there. So lo and behold, they were just laying there in my couch cushion, like all nicely fanned out. I'll insert a video of that I took. That was pretty weird because I don't leave them in anything but the card deck itself or the pouch that I usually keep them in. So I also forgot to mention that my tarot cards never leave those 2 positions. I keep them intentionally separate from everything that I own. And I also texted my mom because she was taking care of my plants. So I asked her if she had touched my tarot card deck, if she moved it, and she said she didn't. So nobody else was in my apartment while I was gone. It was really strange that they were just kind of missing all of a sudden. So it wasn't like that's ever happened before. I've had plenty of experience with tarot cards, but that has never happened, and I don't have an explanation for it. That's just that. I also wanted to jump in and say that I always have positive experiences with tarot card reading. I don't believe it's connected to the spirit realm at all. I actually believe it uses your inner intuition, your inner guidance to kind of show you what you need to be seen while you're reading the cards. So having a tarot experience was not even remotely close to related to this event. I just wanted to do a tarot reading to kind of figure out why I was feeling so scared and frightened. There's no way that I would have put it in my couch just by myself. I texted my friends about what had happened, and one of them had some really interesting stuff to say about it. I'll insert some of the screenshots here. But he felt like he was missing something that wasn't his. While, like, the same exact time that I was looking for my tarot cards, he felt really anxious, really stressed out about finding this certain item that he was missing, but he wasn't missing anything. Like, it was not even related. So I feel like maybe we had been connected somehow, and he was feeling that I was stressed out about finding my item, and he got stressed out because he was feeling that as an empath, possibly. I don't think I've ever asked him if he was an empath, but I'm pretty sure he's not. I I don't know, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Okay, their friend texts me and says that they thought that the tarot cards were related somehow to what we experienced on vacation. And that kind of brought it full circle for me because I felt like it maybe could have been. Maybe it was. Let me know what you think about it because I have no idea, honestly. Something came here. Something invaded my personal space and I did not appreciate it. So I finally got to starting this cleansing ritual at about 12 o'clock in the morning. It was really late and I was already exhausted, but my energy was still high enough that I felt like I could go along with it and do it well and do it properly. So I ended up doing this full ritual, starting lighting my candles, lighting up like sage and having my crystals out. I literally had a full spread of tools on my table, which I'll also insert. And it was a new moon, so I feel like everything just kind of fell into place and it felt right to do this cleansing ritual right at 12 o'clock. I was ready to go. I had cleansed my entire house and I was coming back to relight the sage that I had lit before because it had went out while I was going around. So it's out. I start to relight it and the whole thing sets on fire. So I throw it in the brass cauldron that I had on the table. Immediately the fire alarm goes off after it bursts into flames. So I turn on the AC and I just kind of fan out the area. Everything was fine. No fire was set. I did not cause any damage to my apartment, I promise. I think I felt more relieved after the situation was over and I felt like the cleansing ritual actually did something. Or if it didn't, I feel like for me personally it did work. Should I be playing with pendulums? Some people would argue no, but I don't see a problem with it at all. There is nothing to be afraid of when you use a pendulum. It's not gonna harm you. I guess that depends on what you believe in though, because some people would argue otherwise. That's kind of it. I just really wanted to talk about what I experienced and I think I did that. Everything's fine now. I don't feel uncomfortable where I am. Obviously, I'm protected and I know how to take care of myself. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this down below. Do people still say that? I don't know. That was fun. See you soon. Maybe, maybe not. I should try that again. That was really shitty. I'm gonna have to be really good with this editing. Was acting so weird on camera? I don't know. I'm looking back at this footage and I'm like, what was I thinking? Why was I acting so strange? Why was I not really expressing myself in the way that I probably could have been? But I hope this story makes sense. If you enjoy it, please let me know. Again, this is my first video, so if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. If people still say that. Do people still say that? I don't know. I don't remember. That's where shit really hit the fan. If you don't like the paranormal stuff, then probably just don't watch. This is clearly not the video for you if you've read the title, so see ya. A friend had seen something in the room while we were in there. Duh. Why am I so bad at this? Oh my god. Okay, let's try that again. So maybe there was a presence in here, maybe there wasn't. I'd love to get your opinions on it. I know we have different opinions. Everyone has their own take on spirituality, on tarot cards, on pendulum work. It's all kind of up to their own interpretation. So if you have any differing opinions, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it because clearly I'm not the only one that goes through this kind of stuff, and clearly I'm not the only one that deals with stuff in a positive way and not a negative one. Does that make sense? I don't know.